This is Kevin Hudson with Lawn Men LLC. You are listening to the Lawn Care Business Success, the greatest show around. Don't forget it.
You're listening to the Lawn Care Business Success Podcast,
the weekly show sharing proven methods and systems
in marketing, equipment, and customer service, educational and motivational,
to help make your lawn care business
an overwhelming success.
Now here's your host,
Julio Tomei.
Welcome, Lawn Care Nation, to another episode of the Lawn Care Business Success Podcast. I'm your host, Julio Tomei, and this is episode number 137, entitled Interview with Kevin Hudson from Lawn Men LLC. Well, hello, everybody, and thanks again for joining me this week on another episode of the Lawn Care Business Success Podcast. I really appreciate you guys tuning in each and every week and downloading those episodes. For this week, just on a bit of a side note, if you haven't already checked out the podcast t-shirt collection, I've got a whole bunch of new designs I released last week. You can check them out on Amazon in my affiliate store. You can find them at amazon.com/shop/lawn care business success. Go check them out and let me know what you think. So for this episode, we've got another fantastic interview for you guys with Kevin Hudson from Lawn Men LLC. So I'm going to play the podcast announcements, and then we'll get into the interview in its entirety right after this. So stay tuned.
Hey guys, if you have any questions or comments about the show, I'd love to hear from you. You can head on over to lawncarebusinesssuccess.com/contact. And while you're there, why not join my mailing list and get access to a free PDF document of a landscape maintenance contract you can feel free to copy and use in your own business. For you Instagram users out there, be sure to follow me at Lawn Care Business Success. And if you haven't checked out my videos yet, well, what are you waiting for? Be sure to subscribe to the Lawn Care Business Success YouTube channel. Now, I know you guys love listening to audio while you work as much as I do, so I've partnered up with Audible to offer you guys a free 30-day trial and 2 free audiobooks of your choice. There's no long-term commitments, and you can cancel anytime. And get this, even if you cancel during your free trial period, you still get to keep the 2 free audiobooks. It's a great way to try the service and to see if Audible is right for you. So why not give it a try? Head on over to lawncarebusinesssuccess.com/audible. Now back to the show. So I'd like to welcome Kevin Hudson from Lawn Men LLC to the show. Hey Kevin, how's it going?
Wonderful, glorious, and happy as could be. And it's all in a good form. It's not a bad thing. It's all wonderful. Everything's great. And it's wonderful.
That's awesome. So I'd like to thank you for taking the time out to come and talk to me today. I know everybody's starting to get really busy thinking about the season, getting all their advertising materials and all that sort of stuff all prepared. So I really do appreciate you taking the time to come and talk to me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's totally my pleasure. I'm happy the fact that I get the opportunity to do this and talk to you and so forth. This is wonderful.
Awesome. So I'm just going to get right into the questions. So tell us a bit about yourself and your business.
Well, obviously we know the name. My name is Kevin Hudson. The business name is Lawn Men LLC. I'm 46. Kind of getting crusty and old there, as I like to say it.
I'm not far behind.
I'm on my second wife. The first one just didn't cut it. The second one has been primo. She is the best thing that's ever happened to me. Awesome. I got 2 kids out of this situation. The business started because I was bored off my mind. I was retired at that point. I had a previous business doing a sign shop, doing neon, vinyl, all that different stuff's associated with it.
Yeah.
So I got bored of sitting on my butt playing video games, and the wife said, "Why don't you go find something to do?" I think that was her hint to get out of the house. I was bugging her.
There you go. That's awesome. I actually did some sort of a side sign business myself before I did lawn care, but I was just doing just the vinyl stuff.
Yeah. That's how I started, just the vinyl stuff. But I got into lawn business because a longtime friend of mine He's been doing it for almost 30 years, and he kind of pushed me, said, hey, you ought to do it. And I gave it a shot, and here we go. And this is where we're at today. And
Awesome.
It's been a wonderful ride so far. I love it. I wouldn't change it for the world.
Oh, that's cool. So by the sounds of it, my next question is, traditionally for people, is lawn care your main income, or is it your side hustle? So this seems a bit different for you because you were retired and sort of coming back.
Lawn care for me at this point is, honestly, I don't take any income from it.
Oh, okay.
I take zero income from it. Thankfully, I have a wife that has a wonderful job working for a great corporation, making very respectable income. So basically, in some people's sense, or in my mother's sense, I'm married to a sugar mama. As my mom says. So she says I'm just a playboy. I'm like, I don't know about that part, but okay. But it's more of it's a side hustle. It's more, I'm building this business for a future for my kids if they choose to take this path.
Okay. So you say you don't take any income from it. So does that mean you're like mowing voluntarily for people, or are you just reinvesting the money back into the business?
I reinvest all the money that I make back into the business, other than what I would have to pay for employees.
Oh, okay.
I hire summer help, but me personally, myself, I do not pull a paycheck yet.
Oh, okay.
I decided not to pull a paycheck at this point still, and we'll see what the tax guy says this year, whether he says I have to now.
Yeah. So, you talked about your friend being in the business. So what first attracted you personally to the idea of the lawn care industry, and what made you, want to start your own business? Now, I'm going to take this a bit back because of your history. So, you've kind of explained that this is your second go around, and that, you were retired and, you wanted to get out of the house. So maybe, think back for that second part of the question. So the first part of the question, what attracted you to the lawn care industry yourself? And for that second part of why did you want to start your own business? If it doesn't apply to the lawn care, maybe to the sign industry when you were doing that.
Okay, so let's see. Why I started the lawn care business?
No, first, what attracted you to doing lawn care?
The enjoyment of, I guess it's more of a, I'll go out on a limb here and say it's a Zen thing.
Okay.
I like the peace and quiet. Like, you got the mower running, and all the stuff, but there's still peacefulness to it.
Yeah.
I like being out there working with it. To me, it's great to see nature grow, the plants grow. You trim them, you mold them, you cut the grass, you trim it, you mold it. You can do so much with it.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't get into painting cars, all that other good stuff. And that just doesn't. Yeah. It's something about working outdoors too. I like being outside more than I do inside. And I've always liked cutting the grass. I always cut it when I was a kid growing up. And I always did good for my own yards for the few houses we've lived in. And it's always been kind of meticulous. I'm one of those picky people. It's got to be perfect,
Okay,
it's just got to be just right.
Yeah.
So I just decided, well, maybe I'll just keep doing this and do it professionally. And that's, my friend Nate was nice enough to kind of take me out a couple times with him, and I'm like, this is cool. I dig this. I love the power of the mowers and cutting. I'm like, it's kind of like that. What's that old TV show where the guy goes,
Tim the Tool Man Taylor?
He's grunting about the cool toys.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tim the Tool Man Taylor.
Yeah, he's awesome. That was kind of what it is with me, and that got me really kind of swinging towards it. And I'm like, why not? And I enjoy every bit of it. That's the reason I still do it, is because I enjoy it. So
yeah. That's awesome. So that second part of the question, and like I said, you can apply this to maybe the sign industry part of it, is so what made you want to start your own business rather than being, like a 9-to-5 type job?
Because I don't like working for people.
Okay.
No, I've tried many times to work for people, and being I already did one business and was very, very successful. I could have been even more successful, but we decided to move from one location to another.
Yep.
I just felt that doing it on my own was I could do a better job because I could pay attention to do a more quality job for my customers, so they would be extremely happy. And I'm picky like that.
Okay.
If I work for somebody, they're not gonna care if I do a good quality job, or if I take that extra 5 minutes, they're gonna be like, it's all about numbers. Just get in there and get out and do a crappy job. We don't care as long as we get paid.
Yeah.
That's not what it's about.
So let me ask you another sort of offshoot question from this. So coming back from retirement, why not just start another sign shop in the new location, or a smaller scaled down version of the sign shop?
Well, that was actually we were kind of working on that.
Oh, okay.
When I came back to my hometown where I'm at right now, which is Port Huron, Michigan, when I came back after being in Georgia, I actually got a job with a local guy that's had a sign place for, I think, like 30 years. And he was gung-ho on hiring me, and I got in there and I asked him about buying the business off him. He said, great, threw me a price. I looked at him, laughed, and said, you're out of your mind, because the price was ridiculous. He thought everything was a brick of gold, and it was nowhere near. And it just and the way he treated me and the way he treated the business kind of just burned the whole idea of even staying in that business. And I'm just like, I couldn't do it.
Okay.
I just decided I couldn't go back to it. The markup is not that good around here. It's not a real great business. There's already enough shops in town. I'm like, no, forget it.
Okay. So, and then my next question is, do you have employees, or are you a one-man operation? And I think you kind of hinted on this.
I am me, myself, and I hire, I usually just hire a high school student that's off for the summer for extra help. And when I really need an extra set of hands, honestly, like I said, my friend Nathan, he's the one that he'll come and help out. Yep. Because he's been doing it so long.
Yeah.
We help each other out constantly.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he's actually in a couple of my Instagram photos, so you'll see him periodically helping out all the time.
Oh, that's cool. So how would you, Kevin Hudson, define success?
I knew that question was coming. I remember from all the other ones. Yeah. I knew that question was going to come eventually.
Yeah, well, that's a great question. Everybody gives a different answer, and everybody's right.
I think my definition would be doing what makes you happy. Mm-hmm. It's not about the money. Granted, money, everybody needs money to live and to pay bills and so forth.
Yes.
But realistically, to be successful and overly successful, I think, is doing what you enjoy the most, what makes you happy. Because if you're not happy, you'll never be successful, because you go around with a chip on your shoulder.
Yep, absolutely.
To me, it's doing what I feel makes me happy, and that's doing what I do now.
Yeah. No.
The wife agrees. I've been the happiest since I've been doing this.
Yeah. No, that's, like I said, it's a great answer. Everybody gives different versions of the answer, and they're all right. There's no wrong answers because everybody's different. So that's why I love the question. But that's a great answer. I'm sure we can all, if we sat and thought about it, could think of somebody who society would consider successful based on income, and were completely miserable at what they were doing, and hated it. And we've heard the stories of people going to school for years to become a lawyer or a doctor, and then being completely miserable because it wasn't what they wanted to do in life, and they end up doing a 360 and quitting and doing something that their friends and family are like, why would you leave that job, a high paying job to, become a surf, teacher or something like that. Right. And, so, that's a great example of the success being different for everybody. And it makes, makes you really want to think. And it's something that I say, to the average person who is not, an entrepreneur. Everybody tends to think when you think of success that it only revolves around money. But to an entrepreneur, they understand, and there's so many other reasons and so many other factors that drive them to be an entrepreneur that contribute to their individual success. So yeah, it's a great answer there that you gave. So in your business, what type of equipment do you use?
Currently, I am using Gravely Pro Stance 52-inch. I've been kind of through the different equipments. Yep. We all start out with something very simple and go through all the different levels. I started off with the push mower like everybody else, basic. I was running steel trimmers. I still have them, but last year I got the Echo trimmer, won it at the after party. Yep. That thing is phenomenal, so I'm stoked about getting another one. I do use Little Wonder products for blower. I have Red Max backpack blower. I have a Toro push mower for just those odd little spots where you have to do it. But we're going to buy another Gravely Pro Stance this year. We're going to buy a 36-inch for backyards, fenced-in areas. I like the Pro Stance. The visibility is good. They cut good, and Gravely is about the only dealer we really have around here. We kind of limited on dealers. I mean, there's Skag. I'm not overly impressed with them. I mean, they're okay. Mm-hmm. It just, each person has their own
preference. Yeah,
likes and dislikes.
Of course.
Yeah, preferences. Yeah.
There's they all do the same thing.
Exactly.
They all cut grass, but it just depends on your dealers and all that sort of stuff. What's available to you. What the best. You might have. Different requirements for what you need, different budgets, all that sort of stuff. But in the end, they all do the same thing, and they require the same maintenance and all that sort of stuff. So that's cool. So are your properties, you mentioned a 52-inch, so are your properties quite large then? To me, that's mind-boggling because I'm in the city, it's all dense and everything is like 21-inch mower. And, if I think the biggest sort of mower you would see here residentially used is like a 42-inch. So getting into those bigger mowers that I see quite commonly in the US, it always blows my mind that there's, these huge acreages and things out there that guys are doing. So is your stuff bigger properties?
Most of my properties range from about quarter acre up to about a half acre. Okay. That's roughly where they range at, and most of them are neighborhoods or city lots. The city lots are usually a quarter acre. That's right in our town, and then there's the half acre, which are usually the little neighborhoods on the outskirts and in the little sub-township areas all around. So I usually don't do anything too ridiculously huge. I did the first year, and I strung myself out so thin, I was laughing at myself at the end of the day every day. Okay. 2 acre, 2 acre, and beating my head against the wall going, am I mental? What was I thinking?
Just too time consuming, and then it takes too long when you got too many of them. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. And I don't know, and I'm still trying to figure out why I bought a 52. I can honestly do almost all my stuff with a 48 and a 36, and I'd be perfect.
Okay. So what is, of all those tools that you listed there, what is your favorite tool and why?
My favorite tool? Well, honestly, I like my Pro stance.
Okay.
I like it the best out of everything I own. And I
Okay.
like it because of the visibility and the smallness of it. The footprint's small. You can
Mhm.
maneuver that thing around so easily. I love it. And
Yeah.
it cuts good. I got no
Yeah.
complaints. Some people don't like Gravely, but you know what? It cuts, it stripes, it does everything it needs to do, and it's paid for. So I
Yeah.
love it
Yeah.
even more. It's just I don't
Yeah.
owe anything on it.
Well, there you go. Yeah, no, that's awesome. I'm actually, I'd love to get a stand-on type mower. They're not very popular here. Just started last year. Well, in the beginning of the season, I actually saw one for the first time in like person, like the Toro Grandstand.
Yeah.
And I saw another company using a Skag and a Toro Grandstand. They were both smaller, 36 inch. Like I say, there's not too much need for like the bigger sizes around here, but still very, very slim pickings as far as you having a dealer even carry them. In most cases, like the guy I talked to with the Skag, he had to special order it because nobody carries them, sort of thing. But I just look at them going, man, they're so versatile looking. Looks like you can get into, tight spots. I found a couple of used walk behinds last year in the 36, and they're, they've proven to be, quite good, but I'm still like the controls and stuff. It's nowhere near having, I'm thinking about, back when I had a walker mower, and that sort of, and, just having to deal with the controls on a walk behind, and it's just completely different. And it's so not as versatile, to use, and can be kind of dangerous at times. Depending
definitely.
on, the handles and stuff. And it's like, man, this thing could take off on you, or you try to put the safety locks on and they get jammed or something. It's just not as versatile as those stand-ons. And everybody like yourself who has one just keeps raving about how great they are.
Yeah, and I know exactly what you're saying about the walk behinds, because I had the Gravely walk behind, I had the Exmark walk behind, and they had the sulkies on them, and you get that thing rocking and rolling. Next, you're smashing your hands on a fence, and oh man, I feel you totally on that.
Yeah, and just the whole like having the way they work for reversing and for and having to put them into gear.
No, that's baloney right there. I don't like that part.
Yeah, it's just like it's so, and once it's in gear, it wants to start moving right away. It's not like a zero turn where you're either pulling the levers, or it's just so and you let go, it stops. Where with those, you have to actually squeeze the handles at a certain middle sweet spot to get it to stop, and then you got to lock the safeties on, and it's just like, this is like a gong show. Compared to what I'm used to using.
The belt drive ones, those guys can have that, because you look like Popeye at the end of the day because you've been squeezing that handle so much. Yeah,
I've never tried the belt drive. Those are even rarer around here because of all the rain, and I guess the belts slip when they're wet.
Yeah, they slip
so they're all, mainly, if you do find them here, they're always hydro drive machines.
And I feel you on the walker, because I have the Exmark version of that.
Oh, okay.
It's sitting in the storage unit collecting dust, because it's nice.
Yeah.
But it's a problem child on its own too.
Oh, is it?
It's got that big bin on the back. Every time I turn around, I'm whacking fences and trees. And I'm like, what in the almighty?
Yeah, it takes a while to get used to driving with that big hopper box on the back.
Definitely.
Yeah, my first time on the walker, I know exactly what you're saying. I had bought it. I actually posted a picture on my Instagram today of the walker the day I bought it back in 2007. And right after that picture, I had never driven a walker before or anything like that. And I bring this thing home, and, I was playing around in my cul-de-sac, kind of learning how to drive. And I was like, hey, I'm ready to use this thing. So I loaded it back up, and I had a first-time client with this big backyard, and it was completely overgrown. It was about a foot tall of grass. I'd never mowed this property before. And I get to the backyard and I start using the walker, and it's fantastic. It's cutting and bagging and all that sort of stuff. And I'm going along this back fence line. And because the grass was so tall, I couldn't see that only half of the lawn was leveled. The other half was sloped down towards the fence. But because the grass was so tall, I couldn't tell that because it was all looked the same to me at the top of 1 foot tall grass. It all looked the same. So I get to the end of this leveled spot, and it was kind of like I went off a little dip or cliff because it then suddenly fell. And because it was sloped towards the fence, and I was mowing a foot away from the fence, which is fine when it's level, but when it's now angled towards the fence, now that big hopper box is like rubbing up against the fence, right? So I was like, so it basically got jammed against the fence, and a fence post was like right where the seat was. And so I'm trying to, figure out how am I going to get this? And I hit the levers, and being, maybe only 15, 20 minutes on a walker for the first time in my life. I hit the levers.
Makes it worse.
Yeah, and it swung. It like turned like on a dime, and the whole back box took out the whole fence panel into the neighbor's.
Incoming!
Yeah, and it was going into the neighbor's yard, which was like 6 feet lower. With a drop off, and there was this really angry dog in the neighbor's yard that wasn't too happy that I just took out the fence. So it was an exciting filled day, but that big hopper box can take a bit to get used to when you're first on it. That's funny. So you don't, yours is they call it the Navigator, is it?
Correct.
Yeah. So is it just because of the box that you don't use it?
No, because it's always bagging, and not all my clients want me to bag, so it becomes an issue. And they're like, some people get mad and they say, well, why do you got to bag all the time? Well, because the mower bags and I can't control that.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, so it's on the way out the door. It's a good mower. It runs great. It actually cuts superior. I mean, it's unbelievably cut.
Yeah.
But it's just not efficient for what I'm doing for a lot of the properties.
Yeah, for your type
so
of property.
I'm just going to stick with the Pro Stance, and I'm going to run the new accelerator baggers this year instead of the cheapy aftermarket bagger I'm running right now.
Okay.
And we're going to change it up a little bit.
Oh, cool. Yeah, with mine, the Walker, same sort of experience as far as cut quality goes. With those types of mowers that vacuum sort of at the same time, the cut quality is fantastic, and leaf cleanups and stuff. My issue here, like I talk about all the time, is just the rain. So it just rains so much that the ground never really has time to, drain that water out very fast. So lawns are usually pretty soft. And then with the Walker, just the design of having the engine sort of underneath you, there's no ground clearance. There's you got maybe an inch or two of ground clearance. So if a lawn was soft at all and it sunk even a little bit, it would get stuck because there was no ground clearance. Something would get caught up, either the big, blower on the bottom or the engine or something like that, right?
With that.
So I had to
you almost need mud bog tires on the darn thing.
Yeah. So I ended up getting rid of mine for that because it was like just lawns that you would go on and it looked like it would be good. And then you ended up turning it into a mud bog, like huge pit, and you completely destroyed the person's yard. And it's like, yeah, this is not good for her.
And why is it that swivel wheel will just tear it up something fierce? A little swivel wheel on the back always tears everything up.
Yeah. So does your business, is it strictly mowing, or do you offer any other services besides lawn care?
When I started off, yes, I was just strictly just doing the mowing, just the standard stuff, trimming, edging, and mowing, and that's it. But in the past couple of years, I slowly add something new every season to try to up the game and keep up to date and keep up with the competition, or as they say, competition. I don't look at nobody as competition. The only competition I have is the guy in the mirror, so... Yeah. He gives me enough grief as it is.
Yeah. No.
But yeah, every year we're adding something new. This year we're going to be adding the fertilizing and the herbicide and all that this year, and we're going to try to keep a percentage of it organic, with try to stay away from the synthetics as much as possible. It's kind of hard to, because these people want, their demand is you put the fertilizer down. I want it green now.
Yes.
Well, I can paint it green if you want it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in that same situation. It's very tough to try to do the organic in that sense. It really takes customers who understand and are patient to, I try to explain to them,
You have customers like that over there?
It's rare at times, but I've had some that, even after explaining this could take up to 3 years of us doing this constantly before you start to see regular results. Where when I'm putting an organic fertilizer down, you're going to sort of see that same green up and stuff after, the soil biology and everything's built up over that time. But right away, in most cases, you can put an organic fertilizer down and you don't really see any difference versus the synthetic. So it's very, very tough to get people to switch, because they're like, what am I paying for? It doesn't look good.
It's the biggest thing right there. They go, well, I'm paying you all this money, but I don't see anything. Okay.
Yeah, it's tough, right?
We're going to do more landscaping too this year. We're going to work more on the pavers and the retaining walls too this year. So
okay,
it's going to be a busy year.
Yeah, cool. Very cool. So you have, you said you were calling yourself an old guy, but you still got the energy to get into that new stuff, eh?
Well, I figured I got to. If I want to build a business, my goal is to get this big enough to where I have multiple crews. I have a crew for doing pavers and retaining walls, a crew for irrigation, the lawn crew, different. I want to get up there. I want to do good for good business and some place. So my kids, if they want to come and do it eventually, then they can. If they don't want to, well, no big deal. I sell it and retire again.
Yeah. No, that's cool. So do you do any commercial work, or is it residential, or is it just commercial and no residential? And
actually both.
Okay. Is there?
I do quite.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was just to say I do quite a bit of commercial, but it's about 50-50 split right now. It's about 50% residential and 50% commercial.
Okay.
Right now as it is.
So which of the two do you prefer, and why?
As far as doing lawn care, I prefer the residential.
Okay.
And the reason why? I love talking to the people. I don't know when to shut up. I show up, I'll see the customer and I'll be like, hey, hey, Sue, how you doing? Talking. And next thing I look at my watch and I'm like, wow, I just blew 20 minutes talking to her.
Yeah.
But you know what? The customer's happy. I love seeing the response, the smile on their face. I love hearing their feedback. So I killed 20 minutes talking to her.
Yeah.
I look at it as a building point. So I'm building a relationship with my customer.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. Yeah. I find it the same way. It's sort of same reasons. For me, I like residential better because of that same aspect. The only downside, I would say, that sort of I've thought about is that, you put a lot of effort into that. I've put in, for example, I'll try to go out of my way for people who are my clients. So if I notice something that's out of the ordinary, like they forgot to close their garage door, or they, stuff like that, I'll phone them and let them know, and that sort of stuff, in case it was an accident or that sort of stuff. And there's been a few occasions over the years where then, after a few seasons, they'll hire somebody else because of a cheaper price. And it's like, really? Yeah. Like, of everything I've done for you, the amount of time I put into you, all the talking and all that sort of stuff. In a lot of cases, it's like, people are lonely and, you're their only connection or whatever, sort of to talk to another human being, and you feel like, man, I put like so much effort, I'm not billing you anything, all that extra time, and now you're gonna drop me because somebody else is offering $5 cheaper or something like that.
Because Joe Schmo's lawn care down the street dropped his price $10 to beat you.
Yeah.
You're like, man, you don't know what I got invested into these
I know,
people.
it's
Come
crazy.
on.
Yeah, it's crazy. Sometimes it hasn't happened too often. I usually find obviously building those relationships can secure those accounts. But one or two times it has happened in the past, but it makes it sting more when they do drop you because of that. Let's see here. So this next question is one that I like asking as well, because it can be it's the one question where people sort of have to think about it a little bit beforehand. But it's share a time with us when you struggled in your business, and what did you learn or do to overcome it?
A time when I struggled. That would definitely be that whole first year. There was pretty much almost, I can't say there's like one specific time, but that whole first year that I had the bright idea to do this was a struggle in its own.
Okay.
Because I wasn't charging enough. So I was undercharging, not making no money, barely could pay the gas to put in the mower. And I think I ate more dog poo that year from the weed whip flicking it at me
Yeah.
than anything.
Yeah.
So that year was very tough. It was definitely a learning curve. To charge correctly, make sure you have money saved, and wear something on your face so you don't eat dog poo.
It's funny, the times that reminds me of the times that has happened to me. I'll remind the customer the next time, because like I've got a pretty strict policy about making sure the dog poop's all cleaned up before I get there. And there's a couple times where they may. I find that most people, if they're not the ones mowing the lawn, aren't too thorough about cleaning it. Even they'll go out there just to say they did it. So I'll give them a friendly reminder after, and they'll be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Did I forget one or something?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, let's just say I just learned what when shit hits the fan means."
And that's so. The crazy part, though, is what you're saying about that. They go out, they think they've done you a favor by cleaning up the two poos or turds that are by the back door the dog dropped, not the other 20 that are sitting out the back of the yard.
Been out there all week.
That they didn't even bother to. Yeah. They're rotting in the sun with the flies all over it, and those are the ones you hit. Yeah. It's like, thanks.
Yeah, I know. It's very, it can get pretty brutal at times. And it's like, are you serious? Like, I've actually thought about, making it like if you have a dog, then for certain customers, thinking about, if you have a dog, maybe I'll make it a policy to make it like, I don't want to clean people's dog poop, but, maybe I have to, and just start charging them for it because they're not, being as thorough with it as I would be if I'm, if I mow my own lawn in my own backyard. I'm making sure I'm picking up every bit of it because I'm the one that's going to be mowing and
exactly.
It, right. So I don't want to hit any of it. But with these people, if it's especially here when it's raining so much, they don't want to go out and
they don't want to get out there and get wet
or muddy on the grass or whatever, and they just don't want to deal with it. And it's like so let's see here. So in what is your favorite thing about being self-employed?
I can do what I want. No, honestly, that is probably not my favorite thing. My favorite thing about being self-employed is I can do the best possible job that I want to do. Okay. I don't have to go by somebody else's standards. Okay. I can go by my standards, and my quality control can be where I want it to be, not what somebody else wants it to be.
Yeah.
That seems kind of cheesy.
No,
I guess,
but you know what? The funny thing about that is it all sort of lends its, like the most common answer to that question is freedom. You're explanation there is just a form of freedom. It's the freedom to.
There's freedom in
Well,
this?
yes, there's the freedom to choose how well you want to do the job without anybody else telling you,
Oh, okay.
right? Or controlling, like you said, not caring about the quality of it and just wanting, you get to
Yeah.
choose how much time and how much effort and how much detail you put into that work.
Yeah, because I don't remember there being anything about freedom in here, because this job pretty much takes your life away from you, but it's in a good way, though. I enjoy it.
So in what ways do you market your business, and maybe share your number one marketing tip?
I don't have a number one marketing tip, and then I hate to say that. Well, actually, no, I'll take that back. My number one marketing tip that has been successful so far out of the few things I've tried, which I haven't tried everything yet, so I'm still doing that, is my trailer. And I don't know if you've seen
I've
it,
seen
but
it.
most people have seen it.
I live in Canada, and I live in Canada, and I can see it.
Yeah, I knew it was kind of bright. No, it's for the money I spent to have it wrapped, it's been by far the best investment I've done so far. I've done the Facebook, as you would know in my YouTube video, my craziness and the way I love to get so passionate about certain things. I put the money into doing the Facebook ads. I put the money into doing some other different ad things. I messed with the Google AdWords a little bit, and I didn't get the results from that stuff that I thought I would get. It just there was the next door thing or something. I forget what it's called. It's something free you can do, and it didn't work. I'm still gonna I got to do this year. I'm working on the door hanger thing, and I don't do the flyers because there's already a ton of guys doing flyers, so I didn't want to be in that department. Just basically, and then just talking to people, saying, hey, my website's done really well for itself.
I was going to ask you, do you have a website? Do you have a Google Places listing or Google My Business? They keep changing the title of it every couple of years, but essentially,
I think they get bored with the old title and we got to change it. Screw everybody up.
But do you have one of those listings?
Yeah, I have a Google business listing. With all that, and I've got the website. And since I've done those, that's been a huge successful thing. I do get a lot of hits from the website.
Yeah, that's my biggest thing for me is, when I started out rebranded as my own, I started out as like a franchise lawn care company. And then went on after about 5 years, decided that wasn't for me. Just didn't like the rules and stuff associated with franchises. So, went on my own, made my own brand. And, the first few years, like everybody, did flyers and postcards and stuff like that. I literally have boxes of probably about 2,000 or 3,000 postcards left because I don't do them anymore. It's all the website and that Google Places listing. That just as soon as the weather gets nice and people start going outside, then the phone just starts ringing and ringing and ringing. And
that's exactly what I've seen out of it too, is once the weather hits, they just get online, they start searching. Next, bing, there I am. They're like, oh, look at that. I'll call that guy.
I think what I found is that when the weather is, how's that Christmas song? The weather outside is frightful. People just, they go inside. They don't look. They come home. They go straight into the garage. If they're outside parking in a driveway, they're rushing inside because it's snowing or it's raining and that sort of stuff. As soon as the weather's nice, they're going for more walks. They're taking more time outside. They're not in such a rush, and they start to notice things around their yard that need attending. Even in the springtime, for me, I find the same thing. If it's a sunny day, the phone will ring more often than if it's a rainy day. Just because people are just spending more time outside and go, maybe we should call somebody to do this or call somebody to take care of that or whatever.
It gets bad enough when you're looking at your phone going, shut up, go away.
I know, it's funny. It's very, this business can get very, mentally
Feast or
tough
famine.
on you, where it's like, man, there's like no calls in the winter or whatever, and then springtime comes and there's more than you can handle, and it's like, dang, how come this can't like
Phone,
yeah
shut
yeah
up.
it just doesn't, and it's like, man, you're trying to not answer the phone because you can't get any work done, and it puts you farther behind. Yeah, it's a pretty, you have to be pretty mentally tough with that feast or famine sort of thing, like you mentioned. So one of the most common questions that I get in my business is, what do I do in the winter? So is there a winter or off season in your business? And if so, what do you do in the winter in your business?
Well, what I do in the winter, if non-work related, I have like a little building next to my house. I like to go out there and just kind of putter around. I'll make something out of wood or clean the shed or per se, or just go tinker on something. I don't really technically have hobby
Okay.
per se. I just kind of like to do little odds and ends and different things. Catch up on my whatever TV show I haven't gotten a chance to watch. I watch a lot of YouTube and collaborate new thoughts and ideas in my mind. But if being in the winter time, I do plow
Okay.
snow. When snow is flying, I'm plowing, and it can be a very ugly situation because it doesn't quit. But
that's another one that can be feast or famine.
Oh boy. That is so true.
I've seen times where I don't do snow anymore, but there was times where you'd have a list of commercial properties or something to get through, and you'd be working 6, 7, 8 hours straight, and you'd finish the last property and it hadn't stopped snowing, and you got to go right back to the first one and start all over again, and no time for breaks, no time for anything. You just got to keep going until it's done.
6, 7 hours straight. Boy, I take 6, 7 hours. I hate the 20, 21, 22, 24 hours. I'm like, oh, I'm tired.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 6, 7 hours in a row, and then you'd think you were finished, and then you'd have to go do another 6 or 7 hours because it hadn't stopped snowing, and they're telling you got to go right back to that first one and start all those properties all over again. And it's like, are you kidding me?
It's like, you better get a big cup of coffee because I ain't going back until I get it. There's not enough energy in this world to go back to that thing again.
So you do the snow plowing. What's your setup for doing snow plowing?
I got an extended cab Chevy pickup 2500 with a Western straight blade, 7.5 straight blade on it. I got a salt spreader on the back, so we do salt spreading. And then I have a shovel that's called the steam shovel. You got to get out and actually work it and create some steam out of your shovel. I do have a snow blower, but it's just for sidewalks, long sidewalks. Otherwise, I don't really use a snow blower because it's more of a pain to pull it out. It's just a little thing, but it's the point of picking it up and loading it, unloading it. After about 3 times of that, I'm like, no, you can stay in the truck for the rest of the night.
A lot of times it can be just quicker to grab the shovel and go at it, right?
Yeah.
Especially if the snow is fluffy.
Well, and I got kids. When you have kids, it's wonderful because if they have the day off from school, I got shovelers. I don't have to.
Yeah.
I wake them up, shove them in the truck, put your clothes on. Here we go. We're gonna go shovel some driveways.
Welcome to your future.
Yep. I sit in the truck where it's warm and I push the snow around, and they're out there fighting the snow drifts. I'm like, how's that working?
It's funny. The other day, my daughter was like, I was driving her to school, and she's like, I don't feel like going to school. It's so boring. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you are going to look back at these days and be going, man, I wish I was back in high school. Hanging out with your friends all day, doing nothing. Sitting on your Instagram and your Snapchat and whatever you're doing. And the thing, when reality hits, you're gonna be wishing you were back at these days when you don't have responsibilities and bills and all this stuff.
Yeah, because once the bills and the responsibility come into play, it's like, oh,
yeah. Then there's no turning back after that. So the next question is one that Brad Lloyd asked me. He turned in his interview, he turned the tables on me and asked me a question at the end, and it was a great question. So I have been asking that now of everybody else. So that is, what is the weirdest thing that you've seen or has happened to you during your business?
The weirdest thing I've seen or happen. That's going to be tough because everything's just weird in this world. It doesn't matter what you're doing. There's always something weird going on. Honestly, I don't recall anything like severely weird, anything out of the normal that you would see, just everyday people. I mean, I think the worst thing that's probably ever happened to me is getting hit in the face with goose poo.
Okay, goose poo. Okay, there's a new one.
Yeah,
There's
customer. She lives on a canal. It's a beautiful property. I love mowing it. I've actually taken quite a few Instagram pictures from that property. But the geese, they're Canadian geese. I wish you would take them back.
I was just about to say, is that our Canadian geese?
It's your friends. You need to take them back. But they come over here and they poo these little green poos. And the problem is sometimes they show up, there's probably like 30 of them on our backyard. And I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me. And
you know what the worst part about them is?
What's that?
That there's no wall that your president could build to keep them out.
You have to throw a net over the whole country. Don't tempt them.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, those things, I tell you what, though, they do make a mess over here, and it's just hilarious. And the first time I ever trimmed her property, and there was a pile, and I was going really fast. I was like, yeah, we got to get this done quick. And I hit it, and it literally splattered on my glasses, on my face, round my mouth, all by my nose. And the rookie that was with me for the summer, great kid, he just looked at me and starts laughing. And he just rode off on the mower, and I'm like, you're a dog. He just rode away. Didn't offer to get me no towel, nothing. It's like, man, you're just mean, dude.
Oh, that's nasty.
Yeah,
is it worse than dog poop?
Oh yeah, most definitely. And the smell of it, and it's so soft compared to dog poo, and you wipe it off. And I got it back though. We got in the truck. I said, I guess you're getting a pay decrease this week, huh?
That's funny.
Oh, yeah,
so you do have a weird story. That is.
I guess you could call it. It was.
I've never heard of anybody being hit by bird poop, by goose poop.
Oh, man, and there was so much of it. It's just one of those times where I wish I had a GoPro on me, because that would have been just totally a YouTube thing.
Yeah. Yeah, they can be when they're all congregating in one location, it can look like the lawn's just been aerated. There's so much goose poop everywhere.
It's about how it looked too, probably. And I just didn't catch it because I was in the moment. I was pumping. We already did like 10 or 12 jobs already. So we were just going. We're trying to finish that last job up, and it was getting dusk. And I had him running the mower all day because I wanted to do trim. I don't always like to run the mower. I like to trim too. So I had him going. I was ahead of him, and I was trimming like a mad dog. I was like, I got this down, and splat. No, there went the whole motivation out the window. It was done. I was just like, nope, I'm done.
Oh, that's nasty.
Yeah. He was not happy for the rest of the week because he had to trim for the rest of the week. I rode the mower after that. That's nope.
Funny. So there you go. There's the weird goose poop story.
Yeah, the goose poop story. I keep telling them to go back to your place,
Yeah, there you go. Hey, but at least, because they're Canadian geese, they sincerely apologize. Right? Like
Yeah,
all
I'm sure they
Canadians, we're
don't.
always apologetic.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see about that one. I don't think they apologize for nothing. I think they put more down just to aggravate me. That's all right, though. I've learned to deal with it.
Yeah. Not much you can do about situations like that, especially when they pick a spot that they deem to be their favorite. There can be
that's definitely her backyard. Her and them and the ducks in her backyard. They're just unbelievable. It's just ridiculous how thick they get back there. But yeah, that's just the fun and the joys of the job, and it doesn't deter me from doing the job. I still love the job. So
yeah, just something you gotta deal with. So this next question is. So share your best piece of advice with someone just starting out in the business. So I want you to think about this in terms of this person is somebody that they're coming up to you. They're saying, hey, Kevin, I'm thinking about starting a lawn care business. I've seen that you've been pretty successful at it. What is the best piece of advice that you could give them? And keep in mind that this is somebody, like I said, that and somebody that you would want the best for.
My best piece of advice to somebody, definitely one of the things I would tell them is to keep it simple.
Okay.
Because if you try to spend too much and get too much and take on too much, you're just going to burn yourself out. Mm-hmm. You want to build, you want to make something for yourself, but you got to inevitably always keep it simple. It's easier to build when it's simple than if you got too much on your plate. I would say start off with the basics. Just get everything is in a tight-knit little area. Pick one neighborhood and go in there and just keep pounding that one neighborhood until you get 15, 20 clients in that neighborhood. And even if you got to do it with just a push mower, do a push mower, trimmer, keep it simple and do it, and just put the money aside and build it and build it and build it and just keep them happy and make sure that your customers are always happy.
Okay.
Because if they're happy, they're writing the checks, they're handing you the cash, they're swiping the card, they're doing whatever they got to do to pay you. Mm-hmm. I'd always definitely would stress to anybody, keep your customer happy. Communication is good. Not everybody's a good communicator with their customers. I'm not always perfect. Nobody is. We're human. But definitely keep them happy. If you got to spend extra 5 minutes to trim something up for them, do it. Mm-hmm. It's worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. Customer retention is a lot easier than customer acquisition. So if you've already got that customer, it's so much easier to keep them happy than to go through all of the marketing and dropping flyers and doing all that to try to find a customer to replace that customer if they leave. So why not just, try to do everything that you can? Of course, there's always situations where it's out of your control. But keeping that communication open and, like you say, staying 5 minutes extra to do that extra trimming. There's been times where, I'm mowing my route for the day and I'm in such a hurry. I'm trying to, get done in time to pick up kids from school or something. And, I will pack everything up. I'm ready to go. And I'll, do my final sort of just a quick walk around just to make sure. And I'll see something or notice something. And it's like, man, I, forgot that corner, trimming or something like that. And it would be so easy to just say, well, everything's loaded up. I'll just get it next week and that. But it's like, nope, I'll go unload the trimmer, go get it back out, go back to the backyard, go trim it, then go get the blower, go blow it all off again and all that. And
because if you leave it, it'll just put a bad score on you. Then if you leave it, you can't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, the worst.
Oh, yeah.
The worst for me is times where the grass is either really long and it might be a bit damp or something like that, and you go to mow it, and the tires will, push over the lawn underneath the tire, and then it doesn't spring back up quick enough to get cut.
Yep.
And I'll mow a lawn, and then you turn back, and by the time you're finished and you're blowing everything, the grass where the tires were starts to stand up, and it's like taller. It's like, oh man, I gotta go and mow the whole.
Go back and mow that again.
I gotta go unload and mow everything all over again because the darn thing.
It's like crap.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. He's just looking at it and going, well, if I had a pair of scissors in my bag, I could just go over there and cut that one little spot real quick.
But you always got to remember that reputation and all that sort of stuff, right? Just always do the best that you would do. Some say, treat it like it's your own yard. But I say definitely treat it better than your own yard, because you're more, if that happened in my own yard, I would probably be more, inclined to skip it for the week and just get it the next week. So I would say treat things like better than your own yard.
Yeah, that's a good philosophy. Treat it as it's your own yard, but I agree with you, because I have a tendency not to cut my own lawn for 2 weeks, and it looks like a shag carpet. And then I park my trailer out front, and everybody drives by looking at my trailer, looks at my yard, and goes, "Boy, I hope that guy isn't mowing that one."
Yeah, that's funny. My wife, we have a neighbor that is always piddling around his yard. And working on it, and bringing in soil and doing all sorts of stuff to his gardens and all that, and it looks phenomenal. It looks fantastic. His lawn looks awesome. And my wife is like, she'll say something like, "Aren't you embarrassed that like the guy, like our lawn looks really, really good, but his is just so nice, right?" And it's like, no, I can't worry about it because I'm out working, making other people's lawns nice. He's retired at home, and this is all he does all day long is work on his lawn. I can't compete with that. There's no way I'm going to be able to compete with that, with the amount of time that he sits on one lawn. He's out there every day, all day long, picking weeds one by one on his hands and knees and doing all sort of stuff. It's like, I can't compete with that.
He's doing lawn domination on you.
There you go. There you go.
He sees that you're into the business. He just goes, "I'm going to dominate that guy's lawn. I'm going to be better than him."
Yeah. You know what? I'm okay being second best in the street for that. A lot easier. For that one case, it doesn't. It's not too bad or too far off. But for the amount of time he puts in, it's like, that's not happening. So you started doing YouTube, and you've got your Instagram account. So what sort of drew you to this crazy social media and sharing?
Crazy social media, isn't it?
And sharing about your business and all that sort of stuff online.
That's a really good question, because like I say, my friend Nathan, he doesn't do anything with any kind of advertising, no social media, no website, no nothing. His business is built strictly on word of mouth. And I thought about doing that, and I was like, no, that isn't a proper way to build. And I just started farting around on the YouTube, and I've seen these other guys on it, and I'm like, wow, check these guys out. They're putting videos out of cutting grass, and I'm like, wow, I'm falling asleep because he's just cutting grass. And then I find the guys that are actually talking about cutting grass, and I'm like, okay, now I'm falling asleep listening to these guys talk about cutting grass. And then you finally find the guys that are doing the happy medium, where they're teaching you things and sharing information and knowledge and showing you different tips and ideas. And I'm like, but this is cool. Now I like this. So I'm like, all right, well, let's just start off with Facebook. So I did the Facebook, and I already had, obviously, Facebook for myself, which I don't know why I never used it. It's just a way to connect with high school friends that I never wanted to talk to anyways. But Oh, I'm sorry. Did I just say that about everybody?
You sound like me. My list of old past high school and acquaintances that have requested to friend me on Facebook. The list is long, and I don't accept their, because it's like, for me, I hate Facebook. I try to use it as little as possible, and I only use it for personal family, like, immediate family stuff. Like, here's pictures of my kids to share with my, maybe aunts or uncles that live in the US or in other parts of the world and that sort of stuff. That's it. If you're not, immediately tied to my family, then I'm not going to connect with you on that medium, because that's what I use that medium for. I've got lots of other things like the Instagram and all that stuff to do all the other things, but it can be such a time suck.
I agree with you on that. Yeah. That's just kind of went from there. I decided to do the Facebook, and then I said, well, let's see what else is out there. And I'm like, okay, these guys are doing Instagram. I'm like, all right, let's try it. And then next, I got Snapchat, and then I got, I did the Periscope on there, but I'm like, I'm too chicken to get in front of this Periscope garbage.
No, not you.
I think you're kidding me. And you know that's the funny part is I say that, and my wife's like, are you kidding me? Really? Because in high school, I took TV production class.
Yes, I also see that you were an aspiring actor.
Yeah, right.
So to talk about that a bit. So you were on a TV show?
I was on when it was the high school. I did a TV show that was for the channel was CPHS 6. It was Venture Island, I believe is what we called it. And I was the, as I put it, I was the clown at the beginning, you see, with the long hair that looked like a reverse hair hippie hairdo. All the party was in the front with nothing in the rear. I had hair down to my chin. Oh yeah, it was that was high school days. Things were different then.
So I heard you mention in one of your videos that the TV station still kind of shows episodes, and you still see yourself on those old episodes.
I try to stay away from it now. I no longer have cable TV, so I don't have to look at it or be tempted to look at it.
So I got homework now for all the listeners to go and Google Venture Island and look for the see if anything pops up.
Yeah, I believe it's
the crazy guy with the long hair in the front.
Yeah, I believe it was. I remember correctly. It was called Adventure Island. The station is CPHS 6, and I'm on the intro video and the end video, and I am throughout it. Some of the episodes I'm here and there. I had to do little skits, and yeah, it's pretty funny. Yeah. If anybody watches, they'll be like, "Really? This is the same guy? There's no way."
That's funny.
You think I was corny on that last YouTube? Just watch that. You'd be like, "Wow, this guy's he's an ace in the hole for sure."
So, going back,
I also did radio broadcasting too, so I was a DJ for a while.
Very neat. That's very.
It was here. We have the local college, SC4. I did the radio station. Took it for, I think, was it one full semester or 2 semesters or whatever. I don't remember how it goes, but I did that, and I was late. I ended up being a late night DJ.
Nice.
I did it from 11 to 2, and I loved it. It was great.
Nice. Very cool. So I see recently as well that over the holidays, I think it was, you picked up a new Canon SL2 camera and a Rode Video Mic Pro. You're going big time. That
was called a want list.
So I'm guessing we can expect some more a steady stream of videos coming out this season.
Yes, and I put a goal list in my head. I said the first month I had to have at least one. The second month I have to do at least two. The third month I have to get up to three. I'm so basically increasing it by the
Okay.
month. And I'm going to try my best to stick to my
Okay.
goal and start producing more. Whether it's just me going ridiculously like I did on the last one in my dungeon office down here in my basement, or adventures. I'm thinking of seriously just start taking the camera with me on some of these adventures I end up putting my life on and sharing with everybody and just see what they say and see how many good laughs I can get out of it.
There you go. So with all of this social media stuff that you've been starting and trying out, so do you use the social media to try to grow your landscape business, or are you just trying to just give back to the community and sort of get involved in that sense?
Honestly, I'm not really worried about this. I did, like I said earlier, I did try the Facebook ads. So I did try to work with that end of the social media as far as doing something for the business. But as far as Instagram, Snapchat, all them, I really don't care about advertising for my business personally. I'm doing it for more of the communication with everybody else in the lawn industry, all the brothers and sisters of lawn industry, to get to communicate, to share ideas, thoughts, to support other people, to say, hey, that's awesome, you did a killer job, or, to help people out in a sense. I'm not doing it for glorifications. I'm not looking to get the gold star on the poster. It's just more of a share thing to me. I mean, if I'm going to do advertising, I'm just going to stick to the traditional stuff, do the door hangers, do the Google ads maybe again, and try the Facebook one more time and see if I can get something out of it. Just kind of keep it simple. But as far as the social media platforms, I'm just going to keep them as a friendship thing, more of a share and be friends with everybody in a sense.
Okay. So what, we're getting down to the last couple questions here. So what, from, your experience thus far, what tips would you share with others about using social media around their business?
What tips would I share? I guess it depends on what particular social media they're using. I'd say Snapchat, if you're going to use it for advertising, don't waste your time. It's more for social, to communicate with your friends or colleagues or other people in the same industry. Periscope, stay away from them if you're camera shy. Because I'm camera shy. Yeah, that's it. As far as Instagram, and I like Instagram, and I know you can promote and do ads on it, but I don't think it's necessary. I think you just keep it more of a social platform to talk to people. Keep it as what it says. Communicate with people, socialize with people. I'm having a brain fart, sorry.
No problem.
Releasing bad air out of my ears.
No problem. So the last question that I have for you is, how can people get a hold of you or follow you online if they choose to?
Well, I can make it simple or I can make it difficult. Simple would be they can just go to my website, which is lawnmenllc.com, and all my social media stuff is right there. My YouTube, my Instagram, my Facebook, and you just click on it right on my website and it takes you right to it, and you can friend me, you can chat with me. I have no problem talking with people. I just don't know when to shut up. That's my biggest problem. I'll keep talking and talking and talking forever. But yeah, people can click on it. They can send me a request to be a friend. They can hit me up on Messenger and ask me questions. I mean, I don't know everything in the world. I'm not the smartest guy on the planet. I'm still learning just like everybody else, but we're always still learning. But that's, yeah, if somebody wants to get a hold of me, just that'd probably be the easiest way. I could tell you to go to my YouTube channel or go to my Facebook page, but it's just as easy to go to the website, like say lawnmenllc.com, and you just click on one of the social media things, one of the platforms, and send me a friend request or a message, or subscribe to the channel, or whatever you want to do, whatever works best for you, and I'll communicate back. Simple as that.
Okay, so that's great. So, and I'll also put some links in the podcast show notes to your Instagram account, as well as your YouTube channel as well, so people can find you directly on those mediums. So, Kevin, thank you very much for taking time out of your day to come on to the Lawn Care Business Success Podcast and share your lawn care business journey with us. I really do appreciate it.
That's my pleasure. It's been fun. I'm glad I took the time out, because if I would have said no, I'd have looked like a fool. Because I had too much fun doing this. This is a whole lot of fun. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Great to hear. Thank you very much.
Well, there you have it, Lawn Care Nation. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that interview episode with Kevin Hudson from Lawn Men LLC. I'll put some links to Kevin's Instagram and his YouTube channel in the podcast show notes, so you guys can go and check him out. I would urge you to follow him there on Instagram, and to make sure you subscribe to his YouTube channel as well. On that note, if you haven't already subscribed to the Lawn Care Business Success YouTube channel, I would really appreciate that before the February 20th new changes to the YouTube Partner Program go into effect, and help get the channel up over 1,000. That would be fantastic. So that's it for this one, guys. Here's to wishing you guys all overwhelming success and freedom in your lawn care business. Bye for now.